what's up guys? Mac here.
And Carl.
And today we are in Chateau La Reed. We're at Carl's house right now. We did record an episode earlier, but I kind of forgot to turn on the microphone. And we had no audio, so we're doing a reshoot right now.
We're professional with it this time.
So yeah, I'm professional. Listen to Lil Dicky. So what we're doing today is we're actually going to talk about an arcade that we checked out, a dine and play Dave and Buster's kind of play thing called Gametime, and we actually went this last Monday with a friend of mine and Carl's wife because it was her birthday. So we celebrated that, and we're just gonna do, I guess we're gonna do a review and compare it to what we remembered as kids in the arcade. So why don't you take us away, Carl? Start it off.
Yeah, so like he said, it has a dine and play combo deal where you get to eat an entree and then you get 1 hour worth of gameplay on a swipe card. It's about that size. We forgot to get the card with us.
Oh yeah, the card.
But that happens. But it looks like a credit card, and you swipe it on the arcade machine, and it basically stops the time while you're playing. And then after you're done playing, it starts the time back up, and it starts counting down to an hour. And each time you swipe it, it shows how much time you have left. Yeah. But we did the dine and play combo. It was $17. You get a entree. I had blackened chicken fettuccine. It was like a $14 plate. And I mean, I only paid $17 for the dine and play combo. So 1 hour worth of gameplay, if you just get it by itself, is $15. Right. So, you know, I got a blackened fettuccine for $14, and then the gameplay by itself is worth $15. So like my dinner was only like a couple of bucks basically.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about it too. Is like the food was it was priced well, and
it was good.
It was good. I had the club sandwich. It was actually pretty good, really filling too. But yeah, so you get your little card, and they have what is it? 3 different cards. They have the blue card that lets you play the blue lit games. They have a red card that lets you play the red lit games. Then they have an all access card that lets you play any games, and you can do. You could do credits on the cards, or you can do by the hour. And I think we found out doing by the hour was a lot cheaper than doing the credits.
Yeah, because I think we said a credit was
like
a quarter a piece, I think.
That's right. And they had miniature bowling there, and that was like 20 credits each game, or per player. And if you think about it, that would have been like $5 in tokens. Mm-hmm. So $15, and you get to swipe it and play that for like a good 5 minutes, and then you get to go on to the next game and swipe and play again. It makes sense to do the hour by play. But some of the squirrel. Some of the games, they were good. Some of them were bad. Not bad, repetitive. Yeah. Like there was this pirate game where it was, I don't know if you remember, Jurassic Park, where like you sit inside of it and you have like the turret gun that you go like that and you shoot. It was the same thing, except it was a pirate themed game. Then they had the Jurassic Park one, which was similar to the pirate one, and they had another pirate one, which was identical to, like almost identical. I think the only difference was the color scheme of the kiosk itself. And they had like the basketball where you can shoot hoops. They had skee ball. They had the Indy 500 racing. Which I'll let you take, because that's your thing right there.
Yeah, the Indy 500 thing, it was cool, but it's like a simulator. It looks like an Indy car, and they've got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them lined up. Yeah. And it's basically a thing where all 6 people can be racing at the same time. And if you go in the grass, it's going to shake you around like you're in the grass. If you spin out, it's going to move you around. I actually only lasted for like 20 seconds because I got motion sick. I've got ear problems, so I get motion sick real easy. So I was like, not worth it.
And we just got done eating too.
Yeah, and then we just got done eating, so I didn't do that. But I remember that from my childhood because we used to have a mall in Indianapolis called Circle Center. It was like a 3-story mall, real nice. And the 3rd story was just the arcade and like the movie theater. And that was one of the games that they had back then. It was in the mid-90s or so. And that's kind of, that arcade had the swipe card system too, but you put credits on. And I remember that IndyCar game was so popular that people would line up and you'd have to wait like an hour or so to be able to play it because everybody wanted to play it. And it was like a professional type event thing because there's like cameras that when you're driving, the camera's like focused on you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't think Gametime had that, but like...
Well, they had the on air, and they had like a GoPro sitting on the side.
And I don't think they had it going. But I think at the arcade in Indianapolis, they had like a big screen, and it would show like the players' faces.
Oh, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. I don't like my face. I don't want them to see me. Because, dude, I kid you not, when I was riding it, because it was cool too, because like you can adjust the seats. Because I thought it was like, okay, it's gonna drive and you just steer. No, there's a brake and gas. There's a gas and brake pedal that you gotta push. Except I'm vertically challenged, so I would need my chair all the way up. But when I was playing, I couldn't adjust my seat. The chair wouldn't adjust, so I had to grab the steering wheel, pull myself up, hold myself up with my body weight, and hit the gas and try to steer. And the second it freaking threw me because I was in the grass, I slammed back. And then I'd go like that, and then it would stop. But it was fun. I liked it because I haven't played anything like that before. The games I remember playing were in the arcade was Mortal Kombat, the one with Quan Chi. I forget which one. It was the one Quan Chi the Sorcerer first came introduced in the game, but it was the arcade version. And then there was the House of the Dead game. Which was awesome because they had that as well. They had House of the Dead 4.
And that's what was really cool because they had that indie racing car game. They had the House of Dead 4 game. And, you know, those were a couple of, like, retro games.
Yeah.
And they had a few. But most of them were the repetitive, like, Jurassic Park, right. Battleship, machine guns.
Yeah. And they had a cool game. It was the Terminator. And, like, you had to walk around, like, you stand there with a gun, but it's a point and shoot game. The only thing I didn't like about it was they didn't have like a cursor or crosshair for you to see, so you didn't know if you were hitting your targets or not.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of those games were kind of like dumbed down. They were made easier.
Yeah,
it seemed like because like the turret guns, you know, it's a machine gun. How can you miss anything with a machine gun? But like I remember Area 51 was an arcade game that I used to play at the arcades all the time. And it was one where you had a gun and you would shoot zombies, and it wasn't machine gun. It was, you know, just regular gun. Right. And it was a hard game. Like you would have to, you know, kill so many zombies within the time, and you would keep advancing further and further into the levels. But you just don't really see that with those, you know, games that they had there at Gametime. The ones with the turrets, they were kind of just easy. It seemed like easy and repetitive.
And what was it about game? I don't know. Like, it was fun. Like I had fun.
It was fun for the hour.
Yeah. Well, we ended up doing 2.
I would have been okay with.
I would have been okay with an hour, but I guess the girls wanted another hour. Yeah. But it was fun. Like I said, you had skee ball. You had the Indy 5000. You had a Pac-Man game where you had 4 individual like Pac-Man. Like it was a joystick, but it was Pac-Man's face.
Yeah, that was cool.
So they had like 4 individual ones on a big screen, and you would play Pac-Man, which is cool. But the only thing was when you bit the orb to turn the ghosts into ghosts that are edible, you also turn the players into ghosts as well, and you have to eat them. So it's really like a PvP style player versus player game, which is really cool. It was fun. Then they had the Giant Connect 4. That was fun too.
That was neat.
And that. But yeah, it's crazy because I just remember when I went to the arcades, it was the fighting games that I played, and the House of the Dead games that I played, which I was really happy to see that they had a House of the Dead.
I don't think I've seen any really joystick games with like buttons.
They didn't. That's the only thing that I didn't like.
And that's what I remember from my childhood arcade experiences too. Was that?
See, the whole swipe card, that's a new concept to me because I remember using tokens, and the tokens I remember were the Namco tokens. That, you know, you put the money into the machine and it spits them out. I just love that sound of the coins hitting that little, I just love that sound. But yeah, it was a little Namco tokens that I remember using. And then I just remember just sliding it in the corner of the screen like, I got next game. Like, you were the cool kid, like,
right.
Like, if you walked up into the arcade and you just had your token, you just slide it in the corner, you're just like, next game with me. But yeah, I did that a lot with DDR. Believe it or not, I was really good at DDR. my brother was even better. But we used to go to the mall, and I remember when DDR first came out. It was like early 2000s, and it came out. We had an arcade in the mall called Timed Out, and that one was actually there in like from the 90s. I didn't want to say it was even there in the 80s, but it was like from the 90s up to early 2000. They officially closed it down. But when I went with my older siblings, I was like about 7, between the age of 7 and 9 years old. We would go to the arcade, and my older brothers would play all the other games, but that's why I remember playing Mortal Kombat, and House of the Dead was in there. And then when I went as a tween, I guess you'd say, I was like 13 or whatever, with my brothers, that's when I would play DDR and racing games like Initial D, right. And it was really cool. Those were good times, but definitely want to try and find. You don't find that a lot anymore. I mean, there's a couple of places like on Facebook. Carl on our page was putting up for retro bar game store in
Tappers in Indianapolis.
Tappers in Indianapolis. Yeah, you put it up there and you're showing it. We need more places like that because there's just nothing like that anymore. If you want retro arcade experience, it's like you got to buy a collection and play it at home.
Yeah, because at Gametime, it's a very family type of environment. They do have alcohol there in a bar, for the adults, but it's just very brightly lit. There's a lot of room. Whereas when I remember arcades, they weren't always the biggest rooms. There were usually arcade machines around the edges of the room.
It was
and
just
there were arcade rooms. There were arcade machines in the middle of the room, kind of in a circle. And this is something that I had thought about was pinball machines. Arcades usually have pinball machines. Gametime has no pinball machines.
But I was never a big pinball fan.
I like them. They're fun, but I mean, I'm not a big fan. But I mean, that's a big retro experience.
For a retro experience, yes, yeah. I agree. But I mean, me personally, as a customer, like, it really didn't bother me because I wasn't a big fan of pinball, anyways. Like, I played pinball, but
I like some of the newer type ones, like not newer today, but newer back then, like Simpsons, the ones that were digital.
The themes, like the Simpsons with the themes, or you know which one I would get just for the nostalgia would be the Rocky pinball machine, like the ones that they had in the movie. Yeah, I would get one of those. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, we were told about a retro arcade place in Orlando, so we're definitely gonna try and check that out at some point.
It's kind of like a Dave and Buster's from what we hear, but they have like a retro game section of the place. So we're gonna have to check that out.
So we're gonna check that out. We still gotta go to Lakeland to check out the retro game shop. I was there a while ago when I was showing my pickups, the Lethal Enforcer and the Sonic and Street Fighter. When I was there, they just had some, like, I can see it, like, they just had a wall-to-wall of in-box cartridge games. They had factory-sealed games from, like, back in the 90s. And it's just like, oh. Like, I would buy one. Like, I want to buy an sealed game just so I can unopen it and just take a whiff of the 90s.
I'm just thinking about all the money I could spend there.
Oh my god,
sickening.
I don't want to now. But yeah, so we still gotta check that out. We gotta check out the place in Orlando, and then you're actually gonna be taking a trip to Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, sometime I'm gonna be going to Indianapolis, and me and some friends are planning on going to that bar, and we're gonna check it out and see what it's about. I've seen pictures of it on the internet. It definitely has that retro arcade look to it. Even the sign outside is like an 8-bit sign.
Yeah, that was really cool. You showed me that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like an 8-bit beer, like old school beer mug. With, of course, like, the ale coming out.
So Gametime, I mean, it's a good time, but if you're going for like nostalgia or, any kind of retro feel, you're not going to get it from there.
No. And honestly, what I felt like a lot, like, and I don't know how many more times you can say, but a lot of games were repetitive. So it felt like you were playing the same game over and over.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, it's a different game. It's like, it's the same one. I just played this, didn't I?
But it's cool for a date night. It's definitely to do, something to do for a date night.
Yeah, I'd agree. Well, that's it for right now, guys. That's all we have to report on. Definitely, we'll come back with our gameplays. We're gonna try, we'll try other game hunts, and we'll bring you along for that. We're still trying to figure out. We did a little review on Gametime because we're still trying to figure out what game we want to play, and just go over about.
Yeah, and I had posted on Facebook about arcades, and kind of want our audience, to kind of reminisce on their arcade experiences, and that kind of generated this episode. Right. So, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com / we are the Retro Gamers. And while we're not creating content, I try to post retro video game related articles and pictures and stuff like that. Right. Definitely interact, because we want to make this an interactive show where we talk to you all and you all interact with us. And if you're in the area, we'd love to have you as a guest on the episode. Check out our YouTube page. We're just going to keep filming episodes. If people aren't watching, we're going to keep filming them. We're going to keep posting them
until someone likes it.
And eventually, there'll be like 40 episodes and people will be like, where did this come from?
Exactly. And not only that, give us recommendations. Tell us what games we should check out. It's a gaming community, and especially the retro community. It's small, but it's out there. So, we try to get to, try to come together. But let us know, let us know what games to check out. Let us, know if you're familiar with the area, let us know what areas to check out for games. We can always do, a travel plan. Except, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's within the state of Florida, we can make a weekend of it. But I mean, if it's, come to Blairfield, Georgia, we're not doing that. I don't know why I did that accent. That was terrible. I'm sorry. But yeah, let us know. Leave us messages, leave us comments, like our page, and just say, hey, you guys should play Castlevania, or you guys should play, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Yeah. So, which is a terrible game. But we'll do it.
It's retro. Sometimes you gotta go through the bad ones to find the good ones.
Exactly. So just hit us up and let us know.